Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. Today, we're jumping into something maybe feels a bit soft sometimes, the power of a positive attitude. But the source we're drawing from, these really insightful excerpts from The Power of Positive Attitude, argues it's, well, much more solid than that. We're going to unpack how a genuinely positive outlook isn't just, a mood. It seems it's a real force that can actually reshape your mindset, your actions, even your relationships.
Exactly. And what's really interesting, I think, is how the material gets practical. It's not just think happy thoughts, it digs into the actual um, mechanisms behind it. We'll be exploring how this way of thinking really builds solid confidence, keeps motivation going, and this is crucial, helps you bounce back when you hit setbacks. And these aren't just nice side effects, right? They connect directly to actually reaching your goals.
You mentioned mindset, and the source really zeroes in on that. It's not just about feeling better, though that's part of it, I guess. The book argues it literally makes your brain work better, optimizes it. It talks about something called cognitive agility, how being positive kind of stimulates the thinking part of your brain, makes you better at finding solutions, seeing possibilities, even when things are stressful. So, yeah, less about just blind optimism, more about a high functioning problem solving mind.
Right. And it's definitely not passive. That's a key point in the source. And it pushes for what it calls an anticipatory mindset. So you're actually thinking ahead, planning for bumps in the road, but from a positive place. There's some compelling studies mentioned, actually. People with this kind of growth mindset, they're shown to be significantly more likely, sometimes like 30% more likely, to push through failures. And because of that, they often hit those bigger goals down the line compared to, well, more pessimistic folks. So turning obstacles into stepping stones, it's not just a nice phrase. It's apparently a real measurable difference in approach.
That's a really strong point. Okay, but how does this internal thing, this cognitive agility, affect the outside world, like your interactions with people? Does the book give concrete ways it influences relationships or maybe even opportunities for anyone listening who's a bit skeptical?
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole section on what it calls the contagion effect. Basically, the idea is your positive energy is kind of catchy, like a social magnet. And it's
Mhm.
not just a feeling. It links to the psychology of emotional contagion.
Right.
Your positive state can actually influence the people around you, chemically even. This tends to build trust, to make people more open, more supportive of your ideas. Think about, say, a team meeting. Someone who's positive and proactive. They don't just feel better to be around, they often lift the whole group's energy and effectiveness. And that kind of environment, well, that's where collaboration works better, and opportunities are just more likely to surface.
Huh. So it's creating this ripple effect almost, leading to tangible benefits. It sounds like the book frames this positive outlook not just as a nice to have, but maybe as a genuine performance enhancer.
Precisely. That's exactly the argument. It's not about ignoring problems, not at all. It's about using a sort of pragmatic optimism to deal with reality more effectively. It helps cultivate what psychologists call an internal locus of control, feeling like you are in the driver's seat, and that boosts your belief in your own ability, your self-efficacy. This proactive approach improves performance, really, in whatever you're doing work, personal life, creative stuff. It helps align what you do with what you want to achieve. So challenges start to look less like walls and more like, well, paths forward. The source even shares stories, anecdotes of people who really turn things around by consciously applying these ideas, moving from just reacting to actually shaping outcomes.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The big takeaway from this deep dive today, it seems like a positive attitude, based on the power of positive attitude, is really an active strategic thing. It helps rewire your brain for that cognitive agility, keeps you pushing forward, makes you more influential, you could say, essentially turning those tough spots into launch pads for success.
Right. So here's a final thought to maybe leave with you. If this kind of optimism really does spur proactive thinking, helps you solve problems, and makes other people more likely to get on board and support you, how might deliberately adopting this mental outlook change a current challenge you're facing, personal or professional? Could it open up a completely new path to achieving what you want? Something to think about.